Hey everybody, just wanted to do a little recap of the trip that Carolyn and I took to Newfoundland back in June. Plan was to spend 2 days in St. John's, 2 days in Trinity, Bonavista area, and 2 days back in St. John's. I wanted to go mostly to see the East Coast Trail, and I also wanted to do Grow More, but that just wasn't in the cards this time around. So next time. Anyways, this is 6 days in Newfoundland. So I started off on day 2 here. You didn't miss much on day 1. We kind of just landed. We went to this place called Duke of Duckworth to get fish and chips, which was awesome. And then we went to check into our hotel and we ate at this place called Tear, which was also awesome. Anyways, this is Silver Mine Head Path. Very chill hike, less than 5 kilometers total in and out. East Coast Trail is something like 330 kilometers for the whole length. But what's cool about it is it's divided into all these shorter sections like this one. So you can kind of just pick and choose which ones you want to do for the day. I think we kind of just wanted to ease our way into the hike, see how we feel, and then as the trip went on, we'd kind of do something more ambitious if we felt like it. You'll notice it's a little gray out, and it's been a little bit when we were doing this hike. The weather was a little unpredictable when we were there, but I mean, all things considered, I think it was pretty good. Generally, it was pretty sunny. It kind of reminded me of like Hawaii, where it was like storm and rain for like 20 minutes, and then the next 20 minutes would be super sunny and you wouldn't even know anything happened, right? Oh, the other thing we wanted to see when we were here were icebergs. We got to see an iceberg on this hike, which was really cool. I would highly recommend. Smaller than I thought in real life, but you know, that thing kind of happens when I get far away. Anyways, this is us at the end of the hike. I had to flex in the camera a little bit. Overall, you know, pretty nice hike. Nice way to start. I'd say 6 out of 10 hike. Not too hard. On day 3, we drove our way up to Trinity and Bonavista. We stayed at this inn called Fisher's Loft Inn. And then once we drove up there, we drove to this hiking trail called Skerwink Trail. One of my favorite trails on the trip. It was great. It's about 6 kilometers. You get these beautiful coastline views. It's about 200 meters of elevation. I wish I took more horizontal footage to do it justice, because these videos do not do it justice. But it was actually so beautiful. I would say this is a 10 out of 10 hike. The hike ends at this beach here, which is kind of a really nice treat, I guess you could say. You could swim in it if you wanted to, but the weather was fine. The water was really cold, so dip your toes in and then get out of there. This is the next day. This is the hill overlooking the loft that we were staying in. You can kind of see where we're staying in there on the left, that tall A-frame. We're on the 3rd floor. Really nice. Really like this loft. The breakfast was served in-house. It's nothing amazing. It's just kind of scones and jam. But like, look at that view. Like, you're just looking across the ocean, this small little town. There's like fjords or hills, whatever you want to call it. The sun is rising. Oh, fantastic. This was primarily puffin viewing day. So puffins we thought were going to be a lot more abundant when we were here, but they have these dedicated puffin viewing sites where I think they know puffins will migrate to for the season, right? So we drove there in hopes of, you know, seeing it ourselves. Carolyn really wanted to see it. It was on her bucket list to see it with her own eyes. We even brought binoculars just to see them. And let me tell you, even if you don't see them, if you don't know where to find them, like, you will smell them, because they stink, bro. They smell bad. Anyways, they're on that rock over there. Here's the view in our binoculars. We're looking through. They're a lot smaller than you think. They're like the size of I don't know, like a pigeon, maybe a little bigger. They look like mini penguins. That's what I think they look like. Anyways, really cool, great experience. Yeah, good time. After that, we hopped in our car. We drove up to this UNESCO viewing site. You can just park, get in, you stare at these cool rock formations, and they are cool. I will not deny they are very cool. But, you know, look at those cliffs. Look at that. Look at that water. You know, half the reason I wanted to do this was just to stare out at the Atlantic Ocean, and I got my wish, baby. This was amazing. that, we got in the car, we drove up to the Cape Bonavista lighthouse. We saw some more icebergs, bigger icebergs than the ones we saw on day 2, which were really, really cool. Great experience. On the way back, we hit up this awesome food truck called Oh My Cheeses. They serve grilled cheeses, obviously. I got this one with jam inside. Solid snack. Look at that cheese pull. 7 out of 10. For dinner, we had reservations at the restaurant underneath our inn. They swap out the menu every night. I got the pork belly, Carolyn got the cod, the dessert was some kind of rice pudding, and honestly, it feels like you're invited into somebody's house. It's like they're cooking a home meal for you. The seat we're at was just looking across the garden where they pick the herbs for their meals, and the vibes are just so good. 8 out of 10 meal. Really loved it. This is the next day. We're hopping in the car to go back to St. John's, but before we do, we gotta grab some breakfast. We stop at this place called Two Whales Coffee Shop. The thing about this area is not a lot of options for food, but luckily the options that are available to you are solid. Again, this felt like being invited into somebody's house. They're making you breakfast. I got a breakfast bagel, and let me tell you, this is the best breakfast bagel I've ever had. There it is. It's like a 10 out of 10 breakfast. I didn't even realize until afterwards that this cafe, everything in it was vegan until after I finished eating. That's how good it was. Again, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend this place. When we made it back to St. John's, we went to this place called Middle Cove Beach. It's actually the trailhead of the first hike that we did on day 2. We saw another iceberg there off in the distance. There's the cliff where we're looking down at the trailhead. Beautiful. The thing about this trip, man, spring, underrated season. I was a spring hater until this trip, but we were hiking, we were driving, the sun was shining, the flowers were blooming, the sea was blue, the sky was blue, the vibes were so good. I'm saying vibes a lot. It's just excellent. Anyways, this is Sugarloaf Path. Sugarloaf Path is something like 7 kilometers beginning to end, but we wanted to do one end, get back in the car, do the other end, get back in the car, so we could see both viewpoints without having to do the whole thing and then finding our way back. It's very complicated. Anyways, this is the first section, 1.5 kilometers to the viewpoint. It's basically straight up. I thought it was pretty easy, but some people might think it's a little steep. You can see me run down, grab Carolyn's hiking poles because she was like, do I need hiking poles? And I was like, nah. And then I was wrong. So here's me running down and grabbing them. But yeah, great hike. Here's the viewpoint. We were actually the only ones on this trail, or at least in this section at this time, so it was nice to feel like you had it all to yourselves. The viewpoint was so nice. I would say this is a 8 out of 10 hike. Great hike. Here's us on the other side of this trail. You have to go to this place called Kitty Vitty. It's like a small town or maybe a small section of St. John's. Really cool area. If you have time to check out that area, I definitely recommend it. But this is the other side of Sugarloaf Path. This part was 3.7 kilometers to the viewpoint. And it was also pretty steep, but it was more gradual. The views on this side, though, were better, I would say. And they were just one of a kind. I don't think you would see views like this in anywhere else in the world except maybe some Scandinavian countries. But again, look at the flowers. Look at the greenery, the blueness of the sky. It's spring. Spring is so good. Here's us towards the top. The stairs are there because it gets pretty steep towards there. It is a multi-use path, so we did see not just other hikers, but we saw like mountain bikers as well, which was crazy to me because it is pretty steep. But man, look at that view. Oh, I don't know if this was the best hike of the trip. I don't know if I could say that, but I will say I think it had the best views of the trip. So it's between this and Skerwink Trail. Either way, this is a 10 out of 10 hike. For dinner, we had a fish and chips competition. We heard conflicting reports about what the best fish and chips in the city is. This is between Leo's and Chess's. This is Leo's. They get bonus points for the puppy. They're right beside each other. So we kind of just went to Leo's, picked up some takeout, went to Chess's, picked up some takeout, and then went back to our apartment. The Leo's is on the right there. Chess's is on the left. I would say Leo's beats out Chess's. I couldn't tell you why. I'm going to be honest with you. My palate is not that good. But if Leo's is like an 8 out of 10, Chess's is like a 7 out of 10. But Duke of Duckworth, the one that we had on day one that I did not take any photographic evidence of, that's a 10 out of 10 fish and chips. Best that I've ever had, probably. The next day, we woke up to do the sunrise at Cape Spear. This is the easternmost point in Canada. So the cool thing is when you're looking at the sunrise out across the Atlantic Ocean here, you're the first person in the whole country to see the sunrise, which is magnificent, by the way. It wasn't super busy when we were there, colder than you'd think, but not that busy. There is also a hike here that you can do that I wish I did. I wish I knew about it, because to do that hike in the morning when the sun is rising would have been a one-of-a-kind experience. So I'm pretty sad that I missed it. So if you go, don't miss it. Sounds really cool. For breakfast, we went to Bagel Cafe. They got this thing in Newfoundland called Towtons. I got the breakfast bagel, but Carolyn got the Towtons. It's basically like a savory pancake. She got one with bacon, baked beans, a fried egg on top, and molasses on the side. Sounds like a weird combination, but it's good. It's like a Canadian okonomiyaki. 7 out of 10. After we had breakfast, we went to another trail called Beach's Path. Beach's Path is about 7 kilometers. We weren't planning on doing the whole thing. We kind of just wanted to get to the viewpoint, you know, look out at the ocean and then make our way back. But I don't think we ended up finishing this one. But this is a pretty cool trail because, like the name suggests, you're just walking along all of these different beaches. So you're going from beach to beach to beach. And the beaches are really unique, right? They're rocky, but the waves are really sometimes pretty violent, so it's cool to look at, right? The trail itself, though, is a little wishy-washy. It starts off pretty okay, but you're gonna see in a little bit that it gets real muddy, and then the further on you get, it gets less and less well-maintained. It might be just a byproduct of, you know, the weather. Anyways, you can see the omen on the horizon there. The fog is rolling in. Here's where a bridge is supposed to be, but it is just not there. So we just ended up walking around. And at this point, the fog has completely just blocked out the sun. It's still like walkable. The weather's not too bad. It's just, you know, not sunny anymore. But this is just another section of a beach. And you see it's getting a little dicey. It's just planks, a lot of washed out areas, a lot of mosquitoes because of the washed out areas. Here's me trying to walk my way across the plank. Beach, and I think this is one of the cooler beach spots because the video doesn't do it justice, but especially with the fog, it was really cool seeing that water just kind of crashing into the shore. But eventually we're gonna have to turn around before we get to the viewpoint because it got too muddy to even continue. We had to turn around. So anyways, 5 out of 10 hike. Maybe it'd be better on a sunnier, nicer day. This is Signal Hill. We actually did this on day 1, but we ended up turning around because the weather was kind of dicey. It was actually really windy, and because you're so high up, you kind of feel like you might get blown off the edge. But I wanted to come back. I wanted to do it. Here's a video of what that looks like. Actually, you can see it is a little scary, but the trail run this time around, really cool, really fun. You're basically running along this cliffside and you're looking across St. John's while you're doing it. Again, the weather was very cooperative and I was in my running era, so I felt like I needed to get that, you know, run out of my system to fit my step goals, so to speak. But yeah, 9 out of 10. This is dinner. We ate at this place called Portage. This is probably my favorite dinner of the trip. I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, we ate a lot of seafood, obviously, but this was the best seafood that we had. We got the seafood platter, obviously, just came with some oysters, some crabs, a cocktail. This is a moose rigatoni, which honestly just tasted like beef, but this was the shrimp cannoli, highlight of the trip. And to end it off, here's the dog tax, us getting back to our apartment, and there's no rain. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this clip. Hope to make more. Thanks, everyone.